Welcome to Kellie's News You Can Use, a podcast dedicated to healthcare information. Hello, and welcome to Kellie's News You Can Use. I have a very special guest today, and I'm so pleased that we're going to sit and chat. I have Melissa Honig, who is our new CEO of John Knox Village, and we're going to talk today about all of the great things she's learning about and the great things that we can look forward to. So welcome, Melissa.
Yay! Kellie, I've been watching your News You Can Use before I was even offered the position learning about John Knox. So this is such a treat for me.
Well, I'm glad that you could have time in your busy schedule. And so what we talked about a little bit before we got on was your path, your journey in the last 6 months that you've been here at John Knox and learning and listening, and leads to a very busy day, right?
Everyone's days are full, aren't they? But yes, if you get the privilege of listening and being curious, I'm so grateful that the community has taught me what matters most. And that only comes from, creating space for those voices to speak up. So I'm very grateful.
Oh, that's wonderful. So share with us how you are learning about the needs of our residents and the needs of the community and what you've learned in the 6 months you've been here.
Well, is this an all-day taping? Because we're going to need time for those. I think for me, I'm just super blessed. I have weekly lunches with the board members, with resident board members. I have monthly lunches with the Senate board. I think there's a theme here for eating. But I'm also creating spaces to welcome more resident voices and community chat, for example. I was fortunate to inherit a once a month chat where anyone can come and ask about anything and talk about anything they're sitting with. And I like them so much, and I was learning so much. The team helped me create 2 spaces a month for that. So with the residents and the board and the Senate and anyone who's willing to make space to teach me, it's been incredible. And so it's nice because people share with you what they're sitting with and what their unmet needs are. And if you're listening, you'll catch it. And the truth is that's really shaped the first 6 full months of this year, where I've been without my predecessor and able to truly understand what are the unmet needs of the community. It's residents and team members too, right? And then be able to learn more, ask a lot of questions, something I'm good at, I feel, as I'm trying to learn because I'm genuinely curious, and then working with the team to make some of those changes. So I'm happy to talk about some of those with you today.
Wonderful. So we've had many conversations about the importance of continuity of care, the importance of the support of our residents. And I hope I'm not jumping too far in, but one of the things I think within the first month you were here, and it was something that I had been talking about, was the opportunity to have support through an adult daycare program.
That's right.
And now you are actually investigating this and looking into it and researching with other JKV team members. Can you talk a little bit about, and I know you had this program in your previous position at a CCRC in California. Can you share what that program brought to the residents of that community and how it can support our residents here at JKV?
Yes, of course. Well, I appreciate that. Again, when you're listening, you can do amazing things. So thank you for creating a space for a resident to come and share that with you. I was fortunate to have the same at a community chat where someone stood up and said, what do you think about an adult day experience? And for me, it's what's the unmet need? What are we solving for rather than just doing, we can do lots of things, but is it going to address the unmet needs? And what I learned is twofold, right? There are residents who would benefit from having greater engagement throughout the day. And there are residents, maybe partners, spouses, who would benefit from being able to be a spouse or partner and not a caregiver all day or care partner. And we know the demand on care partners today. And so how do we help residents live their best life while also supporting their spouse or partner or sibling here at John Knox Village? So it was really lovely to hear honestly from residents getting focus group together, understanding what can we help you with. And so for some residents, it was about how can we create something that you're engaged with, where you have purpose and meaning, that's not sitting with an aide for several hours, where it's good, but maybe you've not been able to grow, right? Just because of your age doesn't mean you shouldn't be growing in different ways. And so how do we help this elder grow, so that another elder, partner, spouse, can not miss out on what's important to them? I don't want people missing doctor's appointments or haircut appointments, whatever kind of appointment you have that's core to who you are and your identity. I want you to be able to lean into that and not have to worry that you can't be fully present for your loved one. And so what was really great about this question was that we were able to help lots of different stakeholders. And honestly, what else is there in life than to live with purpose and meaning? So it seemed like a win-win. So since then, thanks to my colleagues, to you, to others, brainstorming around what would it look like, and just listening to residents. What do you need help with? You need to get to see your friends for pickleball, grab lunch, get to a doctor's appointment 4 hours a day, whatever that is. Great, let us help you. So right now, what we're doing, and I think this is probably true for lots of areas, we're building bridges. We're building bridges between different levels of living for residents. So for example, maybe a resident is ready to transition to Gardens West for assistance with living. Maybe it's full, maybe they want more time with their partner and they can still thrive and independent with a bridge like Adult Day. And so we're finding whatever the right nomenclature is for this type of experience. I don't always love the word program because I don't want to live a life that's programmed. I might
Right.
Monday through Friday, but on the weekends I want more spontaneous activity and relaxation, and being able to be flexible. And I don't think I'm any different from any older adult that we get to serve. So building a bridge from different levels of living to create that engagement for folks will be a win-win. And it's coming from recommendations from the residents. Here's what I want to see. Here's what I might be able to afford. Here's the services I want included. I would love to be able to go to the pier once a week and see the ocean, right? There's no reason why we can't get out, leverage our incredible transportation team and go around town. It's what would you be doing if you didn't live here, right? If you could do for yourself, what activities might you be engaged in? Maybe you're going to go check out the new ice cream shop downtown, right? I mean, you should be able to do those things. And so we're creating a way to do that where we can cover our costs with our team members, right? But make it that it's a value add for all the residents.
And I think that's wonderful.
Exciting.
And I appreciate that. I think that both of us agree that aging gracefully and with support is so important. And I think that John Knox, with the continuity of care and
Yes.
us continuing more and more programs, I think
Yes.
it's fantastic. Can you share a little bit? I know that we are now kind of really digging into the greenhouse model, right? And what that
We've
truly looks like.
recommitted. Yes.
What that truly looks like. And I still think that a lot of residents don't really understand what that is,
Yeah.
why it's different, and why it's so unique and special to have at John Knox Village. Can
Oh,
you
yes.
very simply kind of just talk a little bit about that?
Oh, I sure can try. Again, listening in December. So the very first team member resident connection I had, the first was when I got here and there was an ice sculpture with my name. That was November. Then we got to December 29th, I think it was, because I was so warmly welcomed. And it was a chat in the CAC, and there were so many folks there. And people said, right, the residents asked, rightfully so, would you be able to do an education session on the greenhouse? And I mean, you don't have to ask me twice to talk about a model, again, to growth that grows residents and grows team members, right? It creates better connections with families. And we know this because it is the most researched culture change model there is. And so, but I didn't want to present on the model without understanding what it looked like here at John Knox Village, right? Because there's always going to be principles of a model and practices. And the greenhouse 10 years ago this summer, right, opened up here in the Woodlands at John Knox and has the same driving principles, but the practices look different here and at every organization, especially Kellie after the pandemic when workforce really shifted. And workforce is such a strong component of the model, right? Because the idea is creating an environment that looks and feels like home, where you are known, right? Because when we know people, we can do our very best to address their unmet needs. And so I'm really thrilled that we were able just to speak about that earlier this month with the residents. And more important than me speaking about it is having residents tell their stories. So we got to hear from residents about how the model came to John Knox Village. We got to hear what it's like to be a resident living in the Woodlands. And then we got to talk a little bit about where we're going. So I appreciate you asking. We're recommitting to our guiding leadership team because there's all these folks who've been asked to move it forward, but none of them really, unless you've been here 10 years or longer, had the opportunity to be educated on the model and the benefits and our roles and why we use different language that's free of baggage from a traditional nursing
Mhm.
model. And what's wonderful is that I think everyone who works here and knows John Knox knows it's a differentiator, right? They know that there is no one else in the state that operates a skilled nursing model that honestly values the elder and the team member of equal importance. So we're really excited to rededicate to training and education. So we understand what our roles are, we understand what's expected of us, and then we do justice to those we serve by practicing our communication skills, which must sound absurd, right? But I don't know how many degrees you can have. No one really teaches you how to coach. You know, because your son's an incredible athlete, right? And you know a lot about coaching and how we speak to people, how we inspire folks, but not everybody has that skill set, right? Traditionally, in long-term care, we come from a telling approach, right? I know best. I'm the administrator. I'm going to tell you what to do. And that does not work in this model. So it's changing the way we communicate, how we view ourselves, and frankly, how we view elders as whole people. And we are back. So I'm thrilled. And I'm grateful to you and our team who's going to be helping us celebrate this 10-year milestone and letting folks in Greater Pompano know that they can receive care at the Woodlands. You don't have to be a contracted resident.
Yes, and it's wonderful. And I will say that every single time I bring, whether it's a hospital system or a case
That's
manager or
right.
a lawyer onto campus and we tour the Woodlands, they are blown away, not only of the greenhouse model that we talk about, but even structurally, that we have two homes on the floor, that it looks like a home and it's not a hallway like an institution. It's just such a
Right.
magnificent building, and it's so warm and cheery, and it's so different than most rehabs and SNFs in
Yes.
probably in most areas, but definitely in Broward and West Palm Beach.
I believe you. And I think all of us, residents included, especially with their parents, have seen nursing homes that they never want to see again. And it's why when you ask folks, they get emotional because it's been so long that, we've been doing this work. But um, how many people do you know when asked, would you like to live in a nursing home, raise their hand? And until that occurs, we have so much work to do, Kellie. So I appreciate why you have those aha moments when you bring in all of our stakeholders to experience the difference, because there's nothing else like it. And we have to do everything we can to maintain that and protect it because it's so easy to slip in the old way of doing things, right? We're going to make things more efficient and whatever that looks like. But if it's not growing a person, then we probably shouldn't be doing it. And that's where we're getting the education to move forward with those principles now. So I'm very excited.
Well, I think it's wonderful, and especially, and I'm sure I've shared in the past, my mom spending 15 years in a nursing home. The
Yes.
quality is so important, but it's not just the quality, it's the spirit of the person. It's the whole person. It's mind, body, and spirit.
Yes.
So I thank
Oh,
you
I
so much for
appreciate
your
that.
commitment. And when we as employees of John Knox, what I find is we do become a family. I mean, I see when I come back and visit and I get hugs and I miss you, Kellie, and it's not just a job. It's
Yes.
family. You're seeing people that you adore and you look forward to seeing. And it's just so wonderful that you have brought such a passion for elder care. And it's so true and so pure. And I really, really am just honored that I'm able to sit down and talk about this so we can share this with not only our residents, but the community at large.
Yes. Well, that's the nicest thing because as people know you and our colleagues here, we're not the only ones that care deeply. And I feel very blessed for that because, we say a lot, you can hire for the heart and train for the skill. I'm not sure I can teach someone to care like you do, like our colleagues do. And so we have those folks here, which is, again, a blessing. So we've got the right people now. We just need to invest in them as everybody deserves. But I appreciate you talking a little bit about the folks that you're helping to see it can be different, right? It can be different. Skilled nursing can be different. And there's lots of good providers out there, but we're so proud of what we do. I know we're going to talk a little bit more in the months ahead around helping others see that as we celebrate, and use this 10-year milestone as kind of a springboard to move forward with education for our neighbors, and so forth. And so one of the things I do appreciate is that the partners that you've brought to, I'm totally transitioning to, I know this is your podcast, but I'm totally transitioning to the Center for Healthy Living because that is another differentiator. And I think what I'd love to talk a little bit, if you have the time, is
Mhm.
about what you've helped to create in the Center for Healthy Living and the providers that we have there, because the whole driving value around greenhouse is being known. And what's nice is that the greenhouse model has ripple effects for our entire community. We can't just have one building embracing certain principles and not seeing that come to life across our campus. And so what we're
Absolutely.
seeing now, which, and again, most organizations don't have, is a sacred space for providers who are committed to the organization, who want to provide good clinical care, who value continuity of care, as you clearly do, and who get to know us so they can be comfortable, confident in referring their patients, whether they're residents or not, to the Woodlands for care because they know us and they know they're going to get the care that they deserve. So, how do you like that segue?
Absolutely
I'm
wonderful.
so proud of the Center for Healthy
I
Living.
um that came, I mean, it's come to fruition beyond what I could have possibly
Aw,
imagined. And I think you and I've had this discussion as well. It came down to the importance of relationships.
yes, it always
Um,
does. It
and it's a
always does.
domino effect, right? So I think Dr. Crescitelli was the first to go in, then Dr. Dixon, the dentist. Well, her and I had never met before. And when she wanted to look at
Okay.
the space, we start talking, find out both of our, she's got two girls and a son, and I have my son, and they all went to St. Thomas Aquinas.
Oh
And
my.
our kids are all shuffled in between different years, but all this time and we hadn't run into each other. And then
Oh,
um, Dr. Martinez, the pulmonologist, who I've had a
yes, yes.
relationship with quite some time. He's such a lovely man. He called me because Broward is doing construction and they weren't sure what the building.
That's
And the
right.
domino effect of that is he was so pleased about Tom and Sharif and all the work they did for his office. Next thing I know, I get a phone call from Dr. Lapko, the ear, nose, and throat, who's
Our
good friends with
newest
Dr.
addition.
Martinez, who
Yes.
refer to each other and are in the same building when they were at Broward. So it's a domino
Wow.
effect. It's just more and more providers. As you and I can't, I'm in talks with several other groups. One is possibly, a kidney support physician group. And
Oh,
so as we just,
wonderful.
I want more and more in that building so that the residents, whether you can or you can't, and even we can't forget our employees. This is such
Thank you, Kellie.
convenience to the entire JKV family to be able to walk over there, see a doctor, know that the doctor's committed to our community, um, and the convenience of not having to get in your car, traffic,
Yes.
park. I mean, that is something that is so amazing. And to also have doctors that have staff that are caring. If there ever is an issue, residents have, if they either have had trouble getting a hold of a doctor or they weren't sure where their office was, and they pick up the phone and they call me or they text me. It's just such an extra level of support that you don't get
Yes.
just going to any doctor, right?
Correct. Because of the relationships you've helped us hone over the years. I mean, these things don't happen overnight, right? And I know you would never take the credit for that, Kellie, but I'm so grateful for the vision that you've helped us actualize. Because again, whether the intention or not X years ago was to make life easier for our team members, that's one of the many outcomes. And as we know, with the challenges with workforce across the country and probably the nation, we are looking to do anything we possibly can to make life different and better for those we serve, residents and team members. So team members having access to the physicians here for making their life better. Maybe they would be skipping appointments because again, everyone's a care partner here. So
Right.
they would put themselves last, but now we can make sure that they're focused on themselves because when, again, you take care of yourself, you can then take care of others. And that's what I'm finding too, that our partners are able to do, not just supporting us from the workforce, but what you did, if I can just share with the group, is to really listen to what do the residents want. Again, this is not about just filling with any provider, because that could have done that could have happened real quick and you
Right.
would be done with this. But the reality is, what services do the residents want? What are they telling us they need? And so I want to go back to some of the focus groups you had earlier this year with, it felt like almost a dozen residents of different, backgrounds and experiences, different health needs and abilities, to say, you tell us what would make your life easier or better. How can we provide support and care to you? And so thanks to that feedback, you've been able to identify specific providers, right, that were welcoming and having conversations with. And again, it goes back to unmet needs. So thank you for that. And for even when we don't, I mean, boy, if we could all just find, what is it, more neurosurgeons and other practices in the area where this whole county is short. But I know you will not stop being in your persistence to
No.
find us whatever it is. So I love that about you.
Well, thank you. But it has definitely been a labor of love, and I could
Oh,
never have done it without the support of the leadership. And I have to continually say, without
oh,
Tom and Sharif,
yes.
I
Cheers.
brought the horse to water, but they definitely did the back labor of, if residents or anyone has not seen what the offices look like and what Sharif has done in the design, it's just unbelievable. They're
It's
beautiful
person-centered
offices,
offices. Yes.
and the doctors are overjoyed with the outcome of their offices, and they're so proud of their offices. There are doctors that even keep their door open. If you go to the Center for Healthy Living, there are doctors that open there and keep it open the entire time that they are open for business. I mean, where do
Where
you
do
ever
you
see that?
find that? I
It's
know.
so
Oh, I
welcoming.
love what you've done. And you're right. And for anyone who doesn't know, Tom and Sharif and our colleagues, right, we have an incredible renovations team right here on staff at John Knox Village that helps to tailor not just the Center for Healthy Living, but your home when you're moving in. So it can,
Mhm.
again, it should look and feel like home. What kind of home did you live in before? And you're making it better. Physicians leaving their offices for amenities that they might not have had access to no one's fault. So grateful for
Absolutely.
all these folks.
So what I'm excited about is what the rest of 2026 is going to look like. And I
Oh,
think, there's not too much we can let the cat out of the bag, but what 2027 will look like, and under your leadership of where we're going. So, in just an overall quick, what do you see for the next year for this
oh,
amazing
so
community?
much goodness. I know. Gosh, I wish we had all day. But we do because I'm here. And we have opportunities. There's so many places where residents can provide feedback, right? We talked about many of those. We'll have a survey every year, of course, just to make sure that, for anyone who hasn't reached out and leveraged senators and cluster meetings and all the wonderful spaces we have, there's always going to be a survey where you can be anonymous and let us know, and we can do something with that. If we don't know about a concern or an issue, we can't fix it. So for me, a lot of the first 6 months have been listening, as we were talking about, and then figuring out, why is something like it is, and what can we do differently or better, if anything. And so honestly, my first few weeks, we're learning about wellness. How can we be more proactive in responding to needs that folks may have? And so we've had lots of conversations. Thanks again, is I think one of the many themes here is the great folks we get to work with, figuring out how can we create a space for residents around wellness that gives them back additional services, maybe things that they had years ago but don't have currently. Again, no blame or judgment. It just is what it is. And so working with Michael Sue and making sure he has a team, since cloning is apparently illegal, we need more folks to support Michael Sue and that wonderful team. So we're really growing the nursing services, because where we'd like to get to, if we begin with the end in mind, is an opportunity for residents to come into to a wellness clinic where they can come connect with Michael Sue or a colleague. We've got wonderful folks there for whatever it might be, a service, blood pressure check, for example, something that you shouldn't have to pay for that. And so come in, build the relationship with our team so they get to know you, you get to know them. And then if there is an emergency, right, you're going to be better off because there's trust in a relationship there. So we're figuring out right now what those services might look like. And again, how can we do more for residents? And it could be wellness. It could be, honestly, Kelly, I learned about a transfer fee when I first got here, and that, there's a cost to move from one home to another, right? Of course there is. You just moved. I just moved. There's costs that come with these things, right? And so we get that, and residents understand that we need to cover our costs when team members are helping you move from one home, in the same level of living, for example, maybe your residential or independent living home to another home, for whatever reason, right? There's a cost to do that for the team, whether it's paint or patching, our wonderful marketing and sales team to make sure the home looks and feels like it should. And residents were saying, the fee's too high. And we thought, okay, well, are we covering our expenses, right? Anyone who manages any business knows, right? And you would want us to be financially solvent. We're going to cover our costs, but at what cost to the resident? And so we don't want it to be prohibitive. If you live in a large 2-bedroom and you want to move to something smaller because that's more manageable, or you want more discretionary income, right? And take more cruises, as I've learned here, or you just want to be closer to the center of campus because that's where so many amenities and services are housed. Like, you should be able to do that at no cost. So I'm really excited moving forward. Again, if a resident wants to move to a smaller home on campus, that there's not going to be a transfer fee for that. And we're actually going to be able to reduce, I think, the transfer fee in between the same levels. So again, that comes from residents saying, hey, I appreciate you need to have boundaries, but at what cost and what can we do about it? So those are just little things. But again, it's all coming back to how can we be more supportive and make better coordination, whether it's care or services, so that the residents feel like it's a win-win.
Wonderful. So exciting things all
I
around.
could keep going. I know. And I think, a lot of it too, Kelly, is it's obviously not, there's so many folks that play a role in making sure that the residents' voice is heard in decisions. So it's really creating a culture where all of us, right? Because it won't work if it's just a couple team members, but all of us are saying, what was the resident's voice in this decision? Was the resident represented in the creation of this policy? And of course, we're not going to survey 1,000 residents. I know nobody would love that. But if we have resident advocates and representatives who can speak on behalf, whether they've been elected or nominated, to let us know, hey, would you mind, for example, editing the guidebook? We have so many resident editors, thank you, better than any AI tool, looking at the guidebook right now so we can make sure that this is accurate. Does this reflect your experience at John Knox? And so I think making sure that the resident voice is in anything that we push out, practices, policies, and then asking ourselves, like we did with the transfer fee and wellness, what would this look like if it were easy? Right? What would this practice or decision look like if it were fun? To really help us, again, make life different and better for folks who work here, but also who live here.
Wonderful. So with all of that being said, and we have so many things coming up, which we're excited about, the 10th anniversary of the Woodlands and the celebrations, the wellness fair, which is where we first met. So it'll be a year next month, and I'll be in town for that. I'm so excited. I think this is going to be the best one yet. We just have so many exciting things down the pike for our residents. I'm excited to see all these things come to fruition after all of the hard work of the JKV team members. And I cannot thank you enough for taking the time out of your
Oh,
busy day to
thank
chat.
you.
It is amazing. And I thank you so much. And I appreciate your time.
Oh, Kelly, likewise. The best really is yet to come. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm so excited about where we're going, and I'm just grateful for the support and love that we've received here. So thank you. Thank you for having
Oh,
me.
of
I hope I'll be
course.
invited back.
Of course you will.